All right, so let us begin the proceedings for today. Dear students, as you all know that we are here for a very different program. It is a joint effort by the Society for Promotion of Art and Culture and by the Department of English together, Karim City College, Jamshedpur. The event titled Cafe Culturalis was basically an effort which we began in the COVID days, and the idea was to make our students aware about the global culture, to transfer the rich global cultural heritage to our students. So having this idea in mind, we organized a few events earlier also. And today we have a speaker from Turkey. Rather, she belongs to Turkey. She is presently at Vilnius, Belgium. And she will be enlightening you, transferring her knowledge to you all with regard to Turkey or the other Turkish and Urdu languages, as well as the two cultures. If you read the history of Urdu as a language, you will come to know that it came into existence from those camps, army camps, soldier camps in and around Delhi, more especially around that Urdu Bazaar and Jama Masjid. And those Turkish soldiers who used to live there in those camps, they started this lingua franca as the common language of speech and communication. From that point onwards, Urdu has covered a very long distance. But even though it has covered a long distance, it has that Perso-Arabic base, it has the Perso-Arabic vocabulary, and it also has a lot of impact of Sanskrit and various Indian languages, including Hindi. But it's still, Urdu is greatly indebted to its Turkish roots. And we are here to understand this. And that is why we have Tahire Gunesh, a linguist, a translator, a creative writer, and also a great flag bearer of Turkish culture in Europe. And she is, I think, the most fit person to deliberate on this issue because she is very much well aware about the Indian subcontinent. And she is also very much well aware about the European context, the European scenario, and Turkey in the mid of it. So I take this opportunity to welcome Tahire. She was here in our last program also in the Department of English, but unfortunately I missed that program. So dear students, Tahire Gunesh is a Turkish author and interpreter. She has graduated from the Arabic Translation Department of International Islamic University, Islamabad. She can speak and write in 8 languages, including Urdu, Arabic, Persian, Spanish, and Hebrew. She worked as an official interpreter and translator for various government offices representing the Turkish government. Since childhood, she is interested in the study of philosophy and literature. And her extreme interest in Allama Iqbal's poetry led her to learn Persian, and her determination to understand the works of Allama Iqbal better. She has published 2 books in Urdu, with the most recent one is a compilation of her short stories, which is titled in English as Beyond the Caucasus Mountain, and in Urdu it is titled as Kahaniyon Ka Kaaf. She translated 2 books of Samad Behrangi from Turkish to Urdu, and selected poetry of notable Turkish poets including Yahya Kamal, Orhan Veli, Kamal Surayya, Shahid Kulebi, Shahid Sidki, Badri Rahimi, Nazim Hikmat, etc. Some of her translations were published in notable Indian literary magazines also, And she has also been translating Azerbaijani classical poetry, and it will be published soon from Delhi, India. Her translation of giant Turkish writer Umar Seyfettin, Umar Seyfettin selected stories from Turkish to Urdu is already complete, and it will be published very soon. So I extend a very heartfelt welcome to you, ma'am, on behalf of my college, on behalf of the management of my college, on behalf of all our students, the teachers here. And I look forward to your session now. Thank you so very much.
First of all, thanks to Sir Yahya and all his team and his splendid group of students, and I can see lots of people joining in, and every moment, like every minute, I can see that dozens of people are joining us, and it's a very pleasant morning, especially here from Vilnius. And one correction, please, I am in the capital of Lithuania, Vilnius, not in Belgium. Belgium is closer to us, but it's all right. I'm working here as a diplomat spouse. My husband is a deputy ambassador here, to make it more not complicated to you, because the terms of diplomacy are a little bit lesser known to people, like the ranks people understand, like, okay, ambassador and then deputy ambassador, so and so on, and then the secretary is the first secretary, second secretary, third secretary, and then the consulate. So that's how and why I am here, and that's how and why I'm nearly every day invited to different culture programs, especially in this coming week. I am invited to the Parliament of Lithuania to show their culture and language, and I am translating now the Lithuanian culture and language books, 3 books all together at a time. So thank you very much for having me at today's talk. Let me take this opportunity to start my talk with the giant writer of Turkey, Umar Seyfettin, whose short stories I have translated, and soon they will be published. Maybe from Pakistan first and then from Delhi later. But my book is about to be out in the market in Delhi, the Azerbaijani classic poetry, which is, I think, the most difficult work I have done in my life. And when Turks see it, because those poetic terms are now obsolete, that's how we will talk through those terms and about those terms. They are known more to you, to Hindustani people. Why I am saying Hindustani people? Because not only India, but including Bangladesh and Pakistan and Sri Lanka as well, those nations, and Afghanistan as well, like the entire subcontinent, those who speak and understand Urdu. That's why I use, and in Turkey we generally use Hindustani as a broader term for people who speak and understand Urdu language. So those terms are better known to you, but not to Turks, unfortunately. Now, modern, if you pick a person randomly from street of Istanbul or Ankara or Izmir, these are the 3 top cities, cosmopolitan cities in Turkey. Number 1 is Istanbul. It's I am talking on the basis of not only population, but the facilities, the cosmopolitan facilities, the education, the manner of civilization, how it is. So topmost is Istanbul, and then is Ankara, the capital of Turkey, and third is Izmir. So if you pick any random person from street of Turkey and say, what is Bahisht? And he or she will be shocked to tell you that I do not know what is Bahisht. But if we go back some 600 years back or 500 years back to the Mughal Empire, and there was Bagh Hasht Bahisht, which was developed by Babur. Because and a very interesting fact that now as we are talking, we are celebrating in our embassies 500th anniversary of Babur's his empire establishment in India. So this is not coincidence, just a coincidence, but a very beautiful coincidence that you see how the universe brought us together for this beautiful talk. So if you pick some random person and say about this and they will not understand it, maybe some scholar, not like me, I'm of a very lower scale scholarship, but some very well-read person, of course they will know, but some random Turk, they will unfortunately not know. So the challenges I faced while translating Azerbaijani poetry, which is Turkish dialect, into Urdu, was both easy and difficult. Easy in the term that my Urdu readers will definitely catch those terms because they are familiar with Ghalib, they are familiar with Faiz, and they are familiar with Bashir Badr. Let's say he is a living legend and one of my favorite. So you can understand. But Turks, so that's why I kept this book in two languages, both in Turkish and in Urdu. So both, and then I have given some explanations, as we say, the translator's note for those words which were obsolete and lesser known to the readers. Having said that, let's come back to our topic. Ömer Seyfettin, he was known as not ultra nationalist only, but he was a teacher, as you all are. Some of you are teachers, some of you are students, so you can understand this better. And just kindly wait so I can check why my battery is going low. Maybe it's not connected. Just a second, I'm coming back. Oh, thank you so much for your kind patience. So Ömer Seyfettin was known as ultra-nationalist. Why? Because he sensed that Turkish language is dying. It's slipping away of our hands. As Sir mentioned that Turkish has this script, this Perso-Arabic script, and also it had, and Urdu also had lots of influence from Persian and Arabic. If we say, because we see this is a very complex bond, because lots of people, when I read some articles about Urdu, and they mention, okay, Urdu is Lashkari Zaban. So they always just typically start this sentence, Lashkari Zaban, Lashkari Zaban. Ordoi Mualla, because Ordu is in Turkish is a military or group of soldiers, and Mualla is there like the high camp, because Turkish was language of elite soldiers in Hindustan. So they always start with this, and then some deny that no, it didn't spring from that term. But they do not just look back that how it started, because why I became a polyglot is also like this. That's why learning Hebrew, why learning Arabic, because when I learned Arabic, before even learning Arabic, I had this in my mind that Arabic came from where, how. So it came from Hebrew. So you should always go back to see what is true and what is missing, that missing link. So here they always start this from this link which is in the middle. So this Urdu is what they talk from middle, like maybe from Amir Khusrev, Husrev's time, like you can say Amir Khusro in Urdu, like they say. So I will say both terms so you can understand. Because if I say Khusro, Turks will not understand. If I say Husrev, okay, they will understand that I talk about that very person. You see how phonetics can change the meaning. That is why, for example, the other day I was talking about Chakma, for example. वो मुझे चकमा देकर निकल गया. You always hear this sentence when someone is fraudulent or someone is deceiving you or deceiver or something like this. But in Turkish, chakma is, for example, if we say this is my phone, but I say this is chakma iPhone. So chakma is like in Urdu, like how would you say do number? Masnui, artificial. It's not real. Means it's not a real iPhone. So I will say chakma iPhone. So in Turkish, if you say chakma, so you see how the words are same, but they are not exactly meant for both cultures. So if you say in Turkish, wo mujhe chakma dekar nikal gaya, if I translate it literally, it would be funny because it doesn't fit in that cultural meaning. So coming back to Umar Saifuddin, he sensed this, that our language is so full of Persian and Arabic terms. Like, what are we doing? Even, for example, they were using this sual for question. But if you have Turkish word for this soru, so why use sual? So that's how the literacy rate had shrunk to such a dangerous level that, after that, during the wartime, War of Independence, okay, they said we don't have to only get rid of the foreign forces, but also the foreign influence that our language has carried since like 500 to 600 years, because the Ottoman Empire lasted 600 years and it had brought this Ottoman language, which was Perso-Arabic script. And if I present in front of you, except few letters, you will understand all those letters. For example, I have tried and tested that my subcontinent readers, when I present some old Turkish script, for example, this Ottoman script, they cannot pronounce this nef and gaf because it is written as kaf, but only Turks can understand that it is gaf, it is not kaf. So they make, and the jim and j, so they just mix those letters, except for that they can read it if they're not a little bit Turkish, so they can read in that script. But the literacy rate had shrunk to such a dangerous level that only rich and influenced people could read and write. That's why we had katibs. So now when I see in translation that, for example, from Turkish to Urdu, when they translate, so unfortunately there are very less translators who translate from Turkish to directly to Urdu. They translate via English. So when meaning goes to English, for example, katib, they translate in English as clerk, but clerk is a term introduced by Britishers to India to just ridicule this Munshi Fazil. But only we can understand that katib was something much more than clerk. It is not just not even munshi. He is not peon. He is not clerk. He was someone with a very good linguistic skills, cultural skills, and he was that how to say this hatnavisi, with the good writing skills. So that's why books were written majorly by hand by those katib. So if you are katib in Ottoman, like Divani Humayun, we say like Darbar, Shahi Darbar, because Humayun means how to say, in like a king. So Shahi Darbar is Divani Humayun. That's why in Turkish literature we distribute in three parts. First is Divani Edebiyat, because Divan was Ottoman, during Ottoman time, what is written and recorded, like poetry or prose, it is called Divani literature. And then comes somewhere when in Hindustan, when the downfall of Mughal Empire started, so like 1836, somewhere from 1836 to 1837, Turkish sultans, they sensed that, okay, now we know we need to make some islahat, some reforms. So they named it as Islahati Tanzimat. So like in the systematic skeleton, they had to make it like operate and renew it, because they said, okay, now Mughal Empire is going down, so what will happen to our empire? So we should also, so what should they do? Because for any nation, for any country, language and culture are the basic aspects which not only join but unite people together. So they said, okay, first let's reform our language. So they launched this Tanzimat operation. So these things I'm talking much before the birth of even Atatürk. So people who blame that Atatürk changed Turkish language is not true fact. That this is a half information that they have. So in 1836 to 1837, sultans, they took this step, but the period got slower and slower. Okay, some reforms took place since then. Like they said, okay, now we have to cleanse our language from Persian and Arabic influence. Then, in 1858, as the Mughal Empire completely vanished, like the Britishers, they took over through this, East India Company. You all know it. So the first major like solid reform happened in 1874. Like, see, this is before the birth of Atatürk. Like, he is born somewhere in 1876. So this is before his birth, in 1874. The first book was like, first Turkish book was written, and the Shamsuddin Süleyman Shah, sorry, Süleyman Shah wrote İlm-i Sarf-ı Türki, because this was a new grammar book, because sarf in Arabic means grammatical verb conjugation. For example, if you conjugate a verb, so you will say that I sarf it, like tasarruf, sarf. So these words came from there, because you are just passing some word, some verb through such grammatical how to say in a machine. So you cut it from here, you add something here, so it is called sarf. So that's how grammar, like for example, you have heard sarf and nahv. Nahv is syntax, like how you make a sentence by using all these grammatical tools. But sarf is very important, because if you don't know how to conjugate a verb, then sentence is meaningless, because main verb makes sense in a sentence. Others are helping verbs, so main verb is conjugated mainly. So he wrote that book to introduce new grammar for Turkish language. This is before the script changing. Like, okay, first step is taken, that grammar is cleansed from Persian. So Umar Seyfettin said that if a nation has a language, it will have a land eventually. But if it doesn't own a language, it will never have land. So you see this, that how language is important. So I was talking about the missing link, that people start from Urdu, but they do not look back that what began actually Turkish and Urdu link, like how it paved way. For example, the seeds of Urdu was sown much before that. In first BCE, like the before Christ era, like even this. See, we always link, like we means the scholars who write about Urdu, they always like to link Urdu with Islam, with religion. This is also not correct, because here I can see lots of my Hindu friends are also here, my Sikh friends are also here. So it just give it a sense of superiority, that okay, it's the language of Muslims, or considering is a inferiority thing, that okay, we will not learn it since it is the language of Muslims. It's both way wrong, because it has nothing to do with religion. uh, Before, like, Islam, before Islam reached to even subcontinent, Turks reached to subcontinent, and they traveled in a nomadic style, in two forms. Like, first was Sakas. Sakas traveled and they make one empire in Hindustan, and then they adopted this religion. It was not Islam, it was not Hinduism, it was not Sikhism, but it was Buddhism. So why? Because it suited them best to stay there, and then they adopted some cultural things from there, and then they traveled back into Central Asia, where Turks were mostly living. And what Turks were speaking at that time, you might be wondering. See, Urdu is Indo-Aryan, Indo-European language, from coming from that family tree. But Turkish is coming from Altaic language group. There are Ural Mountains. Maybe you have heard about it in Central Asia, Ural Mountains. So uh, under the Ural Mountains, the nomadic tribes were residing, and they were speaking three types of languages. One family was Mongolic, and then was Tongoic. Tongoic, it was like, this Timurs and like this type of nomads, like they were speaking. That is very ancient. And then Altaic, and then Turkic. Sorry, in they are coming in this Altai group. These three languages, three types, these three families of languages, Turkic languages. So Turkic languages is this Chuvash, Turkish, Azerbaijani, you name it, like all these Uzbek. These languages are all Turkic languages. So these Turkic languages were under the tree of Altaic. So Altaic languages, all, I mean, this Tunguic, Mongolic, and Turkic, they have one aspect common. For example, in Urdu, we use like ka and ki to describe something. But in Turkish and in these three languages, they are agglutinative nature. Like you add, suffixes to it, not prefixes, but suffixes to it. Like not sabka, but you add lahka to it. In every, like, you can even make a small word. For example, the smallest possible word in Turkish is ev. Ev, ev. It means house. So you can add some suffix to it, like evim, my house, evimin, of my house. Like, you see, you add something, evimin, like you can just you add suffixes, and you can make a whole huge sentence just out of a word, and you don't have to give space or gap uh, in this word, just whole word. So this is called agglutinative nature, that it accept words. One word is accepting, like how magnet has this two poles, like north and south pole. So you can attach some metal to it from this side or that side, it will catch it. So same like this. That's why we call Turkish as a mathematical language. So I'm carrying Urdu both in Turkish, so you can understand how it goes. So the trade route of that time, when Sakas went to Hindustan, was Silk Route. Silk Route was there. And silk in Turkish is ipek. Ipek. So ipek was some of the best ipek is found in like Turkish tribes. Like they were keeping those insects, and then those insects were giving these cocoons. And what is silk but the cocoon made into thread, the fine thread. So they were collectors of those cocoons. And Cocoon is called koza in Turkish, koza. And now, what do you people call koza? Kuza. You know that kuza? That you put water into it, and then either for drinking or for taking abdest, for example wuzu. So that kuza, you see, it's if you see that koza, it resembles the shape of uh, that koza. So how did this word came into Urdu? Maybe lots of researchers not know about this, because for this kind of research, you need to have knowledge of both languages, and you need to have uh, knowledge from both the cultures, that how a word shaped. So after Sakas had brought lots of good things from Hindustan, and they had spread this how to say, excitement about a new land. So then after that, another group of people, they invaded. I mean, kind of, I do not prefer to use word invade, but like they went to explore Hindustan. And after that, like enough words from Turkish were already used in Hindustan. Like they know what Bahadur means. Now, Hindustani people knew before Urdu what Bahadur means through those people. And after that, because these words were like used by Turks, like one commander would say to its sipah that you see, sipahi is a surname in Turkish nowadays, because people like to keep the names of the forefathers' profession. So if, for example, someone's forefather was sipahi, so this word is also Turkish, sipahi. So you will see lots of famous footballers or basketballers, their name is ending in sipahi. So it's like not they are sipahi, but their forefathers were sipahi. So one commander would tell its sipahi, you are Bahadur. So where is Urdu in this? There was no Urdu. This was Turkish. And then when this Delhi and Deccan sultanates were formed much before much before the Mughals came there, like in 12th centuries, like 11th and 12th centuries. So Turks, for example, Alaaddin Hilchi, and you must know about in Deccan, like how can you forget in Delhi this Mehmet Tuluk, which is like Muhammad Tughlaq. You must have heard, because I am saying both in Turkish and Urdu, so you can comprehend that. For example, if I say Tughlaq, Turks will not understand. It's like Tuluk. Tu was actually it's very interesting. It's coming to my mind spontaneously, so I'm sorry if I get you bored, but it's very informative for you to know. Like Tu was, the cap that you wear when you are a king or emperor. So Tuluk was look. You see, this is again Turkish language. This look is again the suffix for everything. For example, I show you very interesting thing. I'm sorry. This is called tuzluk because tuz is called salt in Turkish, and luk is something like in Urdu you say wala wali. For example, namak dani, or like namak wali cheese, namak dalne wali cheese. So luk means that in Turkish. So tuluk is a person with two, a person who is wearing that cap. And you see, like the word also, Humayun, also came from Huma. Huma was a bird that was used to elect or select. It was a form of election. Although now we also came to this stage that election is but a selection. So that bird was used to put on a head of a person who would become a king or emperor head. It was also Turkish tradition, because you see all in this Altaic and Uralic mountains, these things are happening, which they call you that they are Caucasians. So also Turks are living there. So Humayun is because Turkish language has this aspect that vowel harmony is joining one word. For example, if after some consonant u is coming, which is not full mouth vowel, I will only use u or e or a. I will not use a or o or u with it, because then it will make it difficult to pronounce, and Turks do not like to speak from makharij. Like they do not speak harsh, they do speak very softly. That is because of vowel harmony. And we see this aspect is missing in Urdu. This softness or the vowel harmony. It doesn't matter that it has vowel or not, just the word doesn't need or require this aspect of grammar. So during this Deccan and Delhi Sultanates, another how do we say extraordinary personality, nabagay ruzgar shakhsiyat, or how do we say in Turkish, is dahi. Dahi is a person who is of amazing talents that you can ever imagine. So that level of language proficiency or knowledge or any artistic ability that a person can achieve is called dahi. So at that time, Amir Khusro came up because his father was working for Delhi Sultanate as a sipahi. His services were not great, but like, see, he was from modern day Uzbekistan. His father had migrated to India by his own will, because he thought that the Central Asia is always under some clashes. So his family was not safe. So he traveled to Afghanistan, to Kabul, and then from Kabul he traveled to Delhi. And in Delhi he started, because you see the sultans were speaking Turkish, so he is speaking Turkish. So they kind of said, okay, we trust him, so they took him as a sipahi. And then you see Amir Khusro had seen this sultanate from very close, so he said, okay, he knew now both Hindustani culture and Turkish culture from his home, from this Humayun lifestyle, and he see the outer world and the artist which was inside him. He started writing in amalgamation of words of two languages, which like Hindavi came from him. Like he named it Hindavi because it's what should he name him? He named it like what? Because it's so mixture of words that comes into it. Look, you see, this is experiment which he didn't know will become so successful later in his life. And maybe he didn't see in his life, but later it will be so successful. So Turks were only, so you see how the camps were keeping their language, and the locals, for example, like Marathi was spoken, like there was this Brahmani language that was also, so these sakas which I mentioned, they compiled books about Buddhism in Brahmani, in this Brahm language. So you see, they were the first exporters of any Indian language through Silk Road back to Central Asia, back to Turkish culture. And then they brought, of course, some words. So this is a great achievement and service to any culture, that you copy their culture to actually preserve their culture for later generations to come. And then you see this word, okay, what Turks knew, okay, Hindustani people knew Bahadur before Urdu's advent, but Turks knew Dihan, word Dihan. Why? From where? Buddhism. Like for nirvana, you have to do dhyan, to be focused on something to achieve that inner peace. So dhyan later converted into zen in Japanese culture, so we get oh, this fancy terms, and yen in Chinese. um, so this dhyan, Turks knew what is dhyan, but now uh, it's like odaklamak, okay, like odak, which is different, but dhyan they knew before. So if I translate some script from those Turkish scripts to today, I must know Urdu. I must know that the origin of this word. So this was a great service of those tribes towards Hindustani culture and language. After that, Amir Khusrav, when he started writing in type of, like, you are all familiar with the type of uh, poetry which are in like couplets, but not in like quartet. It was like hamse. Like hamse is like of 5 baits, like 5 shir. Like bait in Turkish is shir in Urdu, but shir in Turkish is poetry, like nazim. For example, if you say poem in Turkish, you will say shir. Okay, and if it carries a special title or meaning, then you will say nazim. And nesir is prose in Turkish, but also fiction is kurgu in Turkish. Like, you see, there are some similarities that you will understand, but if someone says in front of you that this is kurgu, you will not understand that this is like fiction. This is so if you say nesir, okay, they will understand. This metin, okay, text, okay, but you say matan, you say nasr. So this is phonetic differences, which to me doesn't matter, but to other Turks, yes, they do matter, that you pronounce according to what their ears are used to. So Amir Khusro was, he was experimenting with poetry in those hamse. For example, like Nizami Gencevi, he had this hamses, so Layla, Majnun, and Shirin, and Khusro ve Shirin, like this, and you have made it Shirin and Farhad. So these are things his motive was not to promote poetry. His thing was to promote this language, this Hindavi, to common people. So he started singing, because in Hindustan there was this culture of singing and dancing, so you can spread your message. And during that time, of course, not only Khusrav, but like mystical Sufis, they also spread this love language, like from Central Asia, from Turkey to Hindustan, and vice versa. For example, like you have all these silsile, for example, Naqshbandiya, Avesiya. So they all came from there, from Central Asia, and then it kind of get matured in subcontinent. So Khusrev, he saw, okay, now Urdu Mawla, I should name it something that I am saying, I am writing in. So if you see, if you are at influential position, whatever you write gets immediately well known, and everyone wants to read it. So he took benefit of his position to spread this very language to people. So this is the missing link, that people start from this Urdu, okay, high camp of Turks, they were speaking. Okay, from this camp, another word came during that time. During this Khilji time, they were using this word top. In this, because top is the invention of Turks. Top is not only cannon, because like superficially it can mean cannon, but actually it is the ball of the cannon. Because how it is top sheklinda, because it is in the form of a ball. the cannonball. Okay, ball in Turkish is called top. So top is like, okay, in later they had this word güle. Okay, and güle is now gola, like you say gola barut. Or barut is also Turk, because you see all the inventions, this artillery inventions are coming from Turks, so they are using barut. So the word is barut, not with dal, but when it comes to Urdu, so it's barud, becoming barut. So it was gunpowder, actually, this barut. And tüfek, you see, tüfek is tufang. You see, in Urdu you can say tiru tufang. So it is tüfek, is that gun. So this top was like the ball to be fired, and göle, from göle it's like girl, and gölet, for example. Girl in Turkish is called to, for example, what you call talab or jil, lake. Lake in Turkish is girl. So it doesn't mean that it is round, but you know, the natural water reservoirs, if you see, they were not only like square or rectangular, but they were like oval or somehow round shaped. So Turks start to call them girl, like, and gölet is a small talab or small jil. So like it also make it like ismi tasghir, it makes it a little bit smaller degree, like one is superlative degree, but this is the smaller degree of some noun. Coming from there, this word top and topçi. Topçi is like, you see, again, the suffix of Turkish. The one who fires this top was topçi. So these terms were introduced into Urdu or Hindustani language from Turks, like this army. So that's why maybe they call it, okay, Urdu language. Then comes the Babur's time, 1526, and now is 2026. So we are celebrating their empires, like how it was growing bigger and bigger. So Baburname, he wrote it in Çağatay Turkish, because he was Çağatay, which you say Çuktay. So he was this Çağatay Turk, and this Çağatay Turkish, although obsolete now, but people are there who can understand that script, and it is, of course, translated to modern day Turkish, of course. So he complains about why, like, you see how they transport the language. He wrote in his book, which is one of the first autobiography of Islamic world, like one of the earliest, because before you don't see much from, especially coming from the emperor's pen. He wrote that I found here very different fruits. They are difficult to eat. For example, what he saw this jackfruit, this cattle. He said it's difficult to eat, and jamun, it's difficult to eat, and this mango, it is difficult to eat. So you see how he transported these terms into Turkish, because no people ever knew what is this these fruits, you know, he's mentioning. And he was frustrated because he said, I cannot, being emperor, how can I use them, because they leave color, they leave some syrup on my hands. And he was frustrated with the heat of Hindustan. So he also said, this is unbearable for me, and the fruits are unbearable, but they are very delicious, like you cannot avoid them. So he ordered from his Kabul's garden to bring him kavun and karpuz. Okay, now karpuz and kavun is tarbuz and kharbuz. So kavun is kharbuz or kharbuza, and karpuz is tarbuz. So he ordered their seeds and bage hasht bahisht. He just installed them and said, okay, now let's have our Turkish fruits here. So this is how you got tarbuz and kharbuz. terms as well introduced into Urdu. So this traffic was both way. And then when Babur died, his son Humayun, he had all, you see, this all Ottoman and Mughal emperors, they had one thing in common, that they would say shir, like they would speak to themselves and then write something, like they were all creative people. Because as I said, that reading and writing facilities were only available in Turkish society to only the high ups or the elites. You see, and some ladies, they were highly educated, they were poetesses, but they were not allowed to write their names on the books or the poetry they write, because it was, oh, it is ayıp yani, sharam ki baat hai. It's a thing of a shame, not of a proud, that a woman's name is out. So how come they are writing something, expressing? So sometimes these ladies would write under the pen name of a man, but because they had to express themselves, but there is no way out, so they had to keep their identity behind this male names. Anyhow, Humayun was also into poetry, so he was writing poetry, and this is how, like, you see, at that time the court language was Persian, because they adapted to the local culture. So but you see, Turkish runs in the vein. Turkish is running in their blood, so they had to express it also. So he started off mixing like Turkish terminologies with Persian poetry, and then when it is passing through this scholar class of Hindustan, like they started copying those terms. So when coming to Ghalib, for example, I got so much excited, and I asked some of my friends who unfortunately didn't know Turkish, so they were unable to answer me. I saw Ghalib's one shir, and I saw word pembe, and I said, this pembe, how can he use the word pembe? Did he know any Turkish? No, he didn't. Then how but he knew Persian. Okay, and Persians had they had copied one Turkish word, which was pembe. Pembe is actually, have you seen this cotton flowers when like they are budding? You see their color is not white. It's kind of that crimson pink type color. So that color is called pembe in Turkish, for pink color. So from there, cotton name got its name, like pambuk. Like pambuk, you see, again, this book is also suffix to say like pinkish. So pinkish thing. So pinkish was like pambuk became pamuk, and then pamuk. You see, Orhan Pamuk is a Turkish writer. So pamuk is actually cotton. So cotton candy is pamuk şekeri. You see these words, they have so amazing connection to each other as they come. So I say, okay, Ghalib's poetry, he used this word, this pembe, and then lots of people say, okay, but in Persian it is pembe, ruzan, like they say this, the needles, that small hole in the needle. But actually, when you go deeper into the meaning, it means that pinkish light, that pinkish thoughts that so he was a genius of poet. So you see how from this Humayun's literature coming to Ghalib through like this Urdu, you see from Delhi to Lucknowi to Dakhan to Dakhani, like you see Wali Dakhani, you might heard his name about, because he was also writing in that language that now no one speaks in Hindustan anymore, because he's like wa ya or yeah kun. So now it is now no more. So same with Turkish as well. Some words, they are now known to you, but not anymore to Turkish people. So coming from there, like how the Urdu words got there, like you see kapı. Kapı in Turkish is door. Like you see behind me is a door. It is kapı, but kapı is coming from kapmak, something to close. And here you got the word in Urdu kabu, because in some nomadic tribes, like they will say kapu. For example, like I speak in Istanbuli accent, which is standard and very sophisticated and very sweet and nice. But if you see this Anatolian Turkish, or if you go like Azerbaijan, Uzbekistan, like Turkmenistan, Kyrgyzstan, if you see their Turkish is a bit harsh, a lot harsh, like I would say. Like they say kapu, they don't say kapı, they say kapu, kapu. And then this kapu is something to close or control something. So that's how you got the word kabu. And lots of people, like they come to Istanbul, first thing they want to see is Topkapı Palace. They want to see this museum. So it's like not kapi, because kapi is not a word in Turkish. It is kapu, because, but again, this letter u doesn't exist in Urdu. So we sometimes have difficulty to transliterate. For example, if I have to say like Tuesday is said in Turkish is salı, but I have to write, I don't want to write it as Sali in Urdu, because it's it's not a good word to write there. So I just do it with that small hey, like salı, so people would understand, and I put zabar on it so people would understand. For example, this, you have heard the name Yunus Emre. So his name is not written with ye in the end, but just to elaborate, we do it because it is written with that small hey, actually, Emre. But this doesn't exist, so that's why people call it Topkapı. And why Topkapi they call it Topkapi to Topkapi they say. See the stop I said, why it is called Topkapı, this palace, because when Turks were just having the siege of Istanbul, like they had besieged this area, and they were trying to enter, like Sultan Fatih Mehmet, he was entering through the sea. And this is also one genius experiment, like Turks carried very big cannon, like 2 cannons they brought from Bursa to all the way to Istanbul. So they had to make the crack in the wall of that Istanbul, which was protecting that area. So now where this Topkapı palace is there, first top was fired there, and the first crack was there. So that's how they said, okay, now our first victory is this, so let's build a palace here. So that's why Topkapı, like it is from that top, it is kapı, it's not kapi. But okay, you can say kapi, I will give you the freedom, because there is no other way around. For example, I said in my in university class, I was reading some script, and my Pakistani teacher, and I was reading the script, and I said Himalaya, and he said, "Oh, madam, please do not disturb our local pronunciations, because we say it Himalaya." And I said, okay, but we are saying it's Himalaya, and it is like this. So he said, no, we are so sensitive about our terms. Please call it Himalaya, so I can feel this sense of satisfaction. Okay, I said Himalaya. So you can use it, the Topkapi, I do not mind. But explaining to you that the is not completely translatable into Urdu script. So that's how Turks found this another alphabet. So coming quickly to that, from 1874, when first grammatical book was written, then in 1900, like Kamusi Türki was written, and Kamusi Türki is one of the earliest dictionary of modern Turkish alphabets, which is written in 1900, but in 2 volumes. So it had majorly cleansed all the Persian and Arabic words from this Turkish dictionary, because kamus is in Turkish means dictionary. So this kamus was a source to form a commission of letters. So you see, letters commission. This letters commission is deciding now for future that what will be the script of Turkish, because now we have to get rid of this Ottoman style, because lots of population cannot read and write. Only katibs are reading and writing, and they were providing handwritten books to people who were able to read and write. And that's how in Sultan Abdul Hamid's second time, like Abdul Hamid II, in his time, lots of people claim and blame that Turks didn't allow printing press. This is such a big propaganda, because at that time there was no need of printing press, because press you always need. For example, why do you need a machine? To get your work faster. First, he was feared that how can I just remove all these katibs from their work, because they're earning their bread from there, like they are working for sultans, and the supply and demand was met at that time perfectly. For example, there was demand for example, 100 books in the whole Ottoman Empire. So these katibs were there to write. So there is no need of printing press to do it and make people like of generations jobless suddenly. So they had to do it gradually. The third thing was this: sultans felt that, okay, if we make a printing press, so they will press those books and they will print those books which are like, for example, Quran. So Quran was such a we Muslims hold such a high regard for Quran, so we cannot put it on ground. Someone cannot touch it without evolution. So they said those workers may not follow every time these regulations, and when they print Quran, it will be maybe full of mistakes. Who will correct it? Because once in a bulk, when it is printed, then it is difficult to like throw it away or dispose of, because there is a certain way in Islamic countries to dispose of this mistaken religious text, like holy text. So they feared all these things. Not that they didn't want some innovation in their country. No, they wanted, but there was no need at that time. This language commission was also part of this Tanzimat Islahat, as I mentioned, in 1836 to 1837. Coming to 1917, like 1914 till 1970, like Turkey was also under war of independence, and at the same time they are struggling. Like people like Umar Seyfettin, they're also playing a part of a soldier in the war and teaching language to people in Istanbul and then in Izmir. They are always on the back of a horse and also on the table in chair, and then he's also writing, and he died very early, like at the age of 35 he died. He died very young, and he wrote such beautiful stories. They just depict the picture of Turkey, that how Turks have lost their identity. For example, Turks were no more calling themselves Turks. Like some were saying, oh, my father is from Italy, or my father is Turk, but my mother is from Italy, or some like vice versa. Like they were so under this foreign this grace inferiority complex, that okay, if we had this foreign name attached with us, then we will be some big people or elite of Istanbul. And then if you see in this Istiklal Street, like I used to go there very often, because my house is just at the back of Istiklal Street. So it reminds me always that now there are these consulates of different countries, like France, for example, and Italy. When I see and I look at those consulates, before they were controlling from those offices, from those buildings, that who can enter Istanbul. Like Turks could not enter Istanbul via Bosphorus. They were controlling all this. And before this war of independence, they were controlling who can enter. Like Turks, they are living in Turkey, but they are not allowed to enter Istanbul. So that's how Atatürk struggled to get rid of those chains of foreign forces, not only through war, but also through getting back this Bosphorus and giving back to Turks. So during that time, Atatürk, after during that war, after this commission had formed, okay, we can use Latin and Greek alphabets to make our own alphabetic order. So in total, like Turkish, this whole alphabets are 27, but 21 of them are constant and the rest are vowels. And this is similar to English, but with some addition, because the root is Latin. And in this way, they modified, for example, how to write like Arabic word in Roman style. For example, sual, as I said. So Sual, sual. They make it like this to make it both modernized, because it was need of time, because world is going from World War I, and then they are going through this industrial booms, and all these things are happening. So why Turks are leaving behind or lagging behind? First reform is this. Okay, these foundations are laid by sultans, not by Atatürk. One is this misunderstanding. So Atatürk only played the role when after Turkish Republic, like Republic of Turkey, is established in 1923. So in 1926, this Turkish language authority is established by Atatürk. He formed it. He said, okay, now we need a proper Turkish language, so we will announce it and we will spread it to the villages. He went to villages to teach himself. So that is why when on 24th of November, Turkish Teachers Day, like in the rest of the world, it is, I think, 5 October or 8 October is the Teachers Day, but in Turkey, it's 24 November. So we always write that başta Atatürk olmak üzere, like baş öğretmen. So we said, first of all, the grand teacher, or the principal, or the first teacher of Turkish, Atatürk, and then the rest of the teachers. We always congratulate that day to teachers in this way, in this manner, because he himself went to teach people that now you do not have to write this Arabic script, you have to write in this Latin Turkish script. And one more thing, in 1876, like it was a law by Sultan that Turkish language will no more be called Ottoman Turkish, because lots of people from subcontinent, they say, why Turks that they leave behind Turkish. So in 1876, Sultan just bared this language to be called Ottoman Turkish. It was just Turkish language. So Atatürk had nothing to do with it. That's how. So Urdu, again, coming into Turkish very or Turkish going into Urdu has a great role, because from somewhere from 2,500 to 9,000 words are jointly shared by Turkish and Urdu vocabulary. There are lots of words, like I cannot even count. For example, mihman. Mihman, you say is a guest, but we say musafir as a guest. And musafir is someone who is also a traveler, but also a guest. And also this menzil, for example, you say menzil is in Urdu, you say one, maybe one destination, but also one story of a building, manzil, like balay manzil. But in Turkish, it means this mehman saray, for example, these people who would travel and then they would stay. So you see, words are similar, but meanings culturally they got differences, because traveling, because of people, how they use it, and in what circumstances they are using. So this is how it is. It's not an easy journey. It's abrupt journey, but it's a very lengthy journey. You see, from BCE, from before Christ era, it started, and it is still continued through people like us who love to read or write in Urdu, or people who are learning Turkish, and they come to Turkey, explore Turkey, and then they write or learn in Turkish, or read or write something in Turkish. So this is both way traffic which we are having now. So I hope it continues till the end of the time, so we can have more refined language from both sides. Like we get benefited both from Turkish and from Urdu, and vice versa. I will not bore you anymore. I think it was enough knowledge sharing for today. If you have any questions, please welcome.
Thank you so very much, Tahire. This was great. This was not enough. This was great, and we are extremely delighted the way you explained everything to us. Dear students, you must have noticed the title, the subtitle for today. The subtitle was A Wonderful Weaving of Culture and Language. And I hope that you must have noticed the way our guest speaker was talking about this subtitle in her lecture, in her talk today, beginning with the before Christ period, from the Shakas, from the Buddhist Dharma, to Amir Khusro, to the Delhi Sultanate, and to the Tughlaqs, and then to the Mughals, and then to the fall of Mughals, referring to Babur and Humayun as writers. We have seen them as emperors only. Now, I hope all of the students today who were witnessing this lecture must acknowledge that they were two great poets, two great writers also. So from that to the fall of Mughal Empire, and then to the change in Turkish script, the whole history of the istilahat of Turkish language. So the way she has covered it speaks a lot. The recording will be available, and I will request you that listen to the recording time and again, because it can help all those language lovers who have a lot of dreams to do in the future with regard to language studies. The time is too much. We have consumed so much of time of the speaker also. So, but still, if there is any question from the side of our students, also there are some audience, some other listeners also from outside our college. All of you are welcome to one or two questions, please. You may unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hello everyone.
Yes, please, sir.
I am Dr. Faisal Nazir. I did my PhD from Jamia Millia Islamia Central University, New Delhi. Right now, I am in Qatar, Doha. And I don't have a specific question. I just want to say that it was wonderful to listen to Tahire. We know each other via social media. I saw her poster, and it was wonderful topic. So it was wonderful, and you know, we always discuss that all the languages are translation. So how one language and one word travel from here to there, from through history and to India, and vice versa to Turkish language and other parts of the world. And it was wonderful. And to know that you know 8 languages, it's such a surprising. I just want to ask how you can hold on to so many languages, and how you can you know, always update the vocabulary. And if it doesn't mix up one vocabulary to another, and when you want to write as a multilingual linguist, so it doesn't get confused, and if how the process works, you know. So it was wonderful, and I'm grateful to the Karim City College, and it is such a nice to see the how active this college is on the holiday on Sunday. Such a large part of students are available and they are listening. It is such a wonderful. I have heard about this Karim City College, and it was I want to congratulate all of you, the organizers, and it was wonderful to listen to Tahire. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. बहुत शुक्रिया.
Thank you so much. Yes, Dr. Faisal, I am always admiring him on translating, because he is doing lots of works from Urdu to Arabic and Arabic to Urdu. He is such a wonderful scholar that India must cherish, because if people like him is serving like Arabic and both Urdu as well. Because I am graduated from Arabic department, so I can understand how, for example, I wrote a story how languages do not mix. I tell you, we had a contest of short story writing, and it was held in Beirut. So our teacher told us to participate in a short story, and then I got some prize for it. In الدم يتحدث. I wrote it, okay? So lahu bolta hai. Blood speaks. So because Shakespeare also wrote Blood Speaks, but having nowhere Shakespeare in my mind, I was myself some Shakespeare of that time, and I had recently joined Arabic department. So I wrote and I showed it to one of the Arab, and he was in our university serving as a MD or something, and he said, "Are you joking me? You wrote it, and it's like, as an Arab, I am astonished that you have a skill of story writing it, no matter what, in any language." Okay, so I submitted it to my teacher. Well, he didn't believe that I write it, and then I said, "Okay, I will translate it for you in Urdu, and then you will believe." And then I translate the same story to Urdu to see that they do not match anymore. Like, I am the writer, I know the sense, I know the everything, but they do not, like in Arabic, it is giving you more punches, like it gives your heart some like butterflies in your stomach, but in Urdu it doesn't give. So I said, I didn't want to say like this, but I presented it to my teacher, and he said, "Okay, now Urdu author is who?" I said, "I am the author," and he said, "No, they are completely different." So how languages do not mix? Because always I go through the literature. For example, even I read al-mukavinat from like a spice box. Even I will see what are the ingredients, so it also enriches my vocabulary and update as well. For example, in Arabic, before some words were not used, but now they are used. Like bustan, hadika, munaza, like these all are words for just a garden, but some are not used. Like, you will say to Arab and they will not understand what you are saying. It's just nonsense. So for Hebrew as well, for all the languages that I speak, sometimes I overflow with knowledge. Like, I want to speak and I'm so fluent. I speaking, and at some time, as all the polyglots, I am speaking on behalf of all the polyglots, we live that sudden shock of code switching, like when some other language is being spoken. So we take those 10 to 20 seconds to become fluent, because you are teaching your brain to now active on this side. So it's always like skill. It is a skill to learn a language. So when you learn it, you need to hone it. Otherwise it will get rusted. So I do newspaper reading, though outdated. I do maybe internet scrolling, and I have joined different languages groups, and I do not judge it on base of my religion, that okay, I am Muslim and now I do not have to learn Hebrew, or I do not have to like Hebrew posts. it gives me immense pleasure that when I communicate to this Jewish people in their language, and I tell them about what they are doing in Palestine and in Gaza, so it's joy, not that okay, I am inferior to them, or why I am speaking their language, or I am promoting their language. No, in Vilnius there is one ghetto of Jewish people. There's additional information. So all these terminologies are written still in Jewish, in Hebrew Jewish. And when I read it, and then the people get stunned that how do you know the script, and how I say I know Hebrew and I have studied. And this is also kind of information that I read this lawhas, that the name plates which are, so you see, you have to re-update, you have to relearn all the things. Like, you should not think that okay, I have now learned this language, now it's okay enough, and leave it behind. Read and write wherever it is possible. Same with Spanish. For example, if I go that day I went to Germany, and there was a Hispanic lady selling some bag of the cork, and I took a bag and I said, is it from Brazil? And she said, yes, it is from Brazil. How do you know? I said, because I know the wonderful cork trees are grown there. So you see, for a translator, general knowledge is that much important. And this is taught to me while I was doing parliamentary interpretations. During the parliament session, you have to be so sharp and so fast that there is no room for mistake. They will just kick you out, that okay, we need another translator, you just go out, you made this mistake, because how prime minister is speaking or president is speaking and you made this mistake. And so for this, you are always in a battle to know more. It makes you greedy. So that's how I keep, sometimes I forget some, not forget, but for a time being I become speechless, because when you know so much, you don't know what to speak, because in front of you there are target audience who may not know as much as you know, or you do not want to embarrass them, that okay, they know less than you. So then you choose wisely how to and when to speak to them. So that's how I keep my languages intact.
Thank you very much. That's so nice to know. You know, in India, we have a very few scholars who know Hebrew. In JNU, I know one person. He's the only person I know. In Jamia, we don't have Hebrew department. So it is in India, it's a scarcity of the people that they knew Hebrew. So it's such a rare. Huh? Thank you very much for that explanation and comments. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Now we'll take just one or two questions, not more than that. Harneet Baba, if you wish to ask, please unmute yourself.
Yes, sir. Good evening, ma'am. Am I audible?
Gigi, you are audible.
Okay. Actually, Fazil sir only covered up my question. I have the same curiosity that how you have so much command on 8 languages. That is fascinating. And also, I wanted to ask that did you know from the very beginning that you are going to learn so many languages, and that it will pave your path in as a professional in your profession? Will you use it in your profession also? Did you have the knowledge from the beginning, or did you start it as a hobby and it became such a thing in your life?
It's such a frequent question that I get, but always I love to respond to this question, and always in a new way. I had this love for not languages but knowledge. I had this thirst for knowledges. So when I was reading about for example, Islamic history, or let's say Hindu mythology, because I love mythologies, so Greek mythologies. In Turkey, it is not so welcome to read and appreciate Greek mythology, but I had my own passions. So I was reading about mythologies, and then I said, some link is missing. But what is that missing link? Because you see, we always talk about the half knowledge that we have. We do not want to look back. So I said, I will find that missing link. And then I came to know that, okay, there is something beyond Arabic. There is something beyond Hebrew. There is something beyond everything. So it's Aramic, Hebrew, then like you name it, and then Akkadian, Sumerian, and then coming to this all the Semitic languages like Arabic. So people who say it's a pure Arabic, okay, there is no such thing as a pure language. So always one language is influenced by other, and how it, for example, in Hebrew, ani means I, and at is you, or for male, ata. That's why there is a joke when I was learning Hebrew, and someone would say to me, Atatürk. It means you are Turk, and then I would say, "Lo, ani lo Atatürk." I would say that no, I am not Atatürk, and they would say no, it's because it was very early stages. So I memorized. Oh, they want to say in Arabic it's like anta, anti. So in Hebrew, at or ata is you, and ani is I, and in Arabic ana or anta, anti. So you see, those people who do not know Arabic, because some Hebrew speakers, they do not know Arabic, when you tell them that the same things you know from Arabic, like ana or inni or something like this, they will say, nonsense, I do not speak Arabic, I am speaking my language. So they claim that our language is pure. So I had all this love for knowledge. So then, if you have love for something, the whole universe will conspire to bring that things to you. Then, like a puzzle piece, I went to one country, okay, got something from there. Another country, got something from there. And that is how it shaped my future. Or otherwise, my family and I were wholeheartedly deciding to become a doctor. And even I studied one first professional MBBS, but I just dropped it, deleted it. I said I will be just one doctor in millions, but if I become a polyglot, I will be very rare, with rare combinations of languages. So that's how I didn't know from start, but my mother was instilling in my mind that if you have lots of knowledge, you will be somebody.
Great. That's really great.
Thank you,
So we are
ma'am.
taking the last question for today, and that is by Saurav Mandal. Saurav, please unmute yourself.
Uh, Hello, ma'am. Saurabh this side.
Yes,
Ma'am,
please.
in our interaction with you in a previous program, you had mentioned that you will be visiting our college when you are in India, New Delhi, for your book launch. So, have the dates been finalized, or they are yet to be finalized? Like when you will be visiting us?
Thank you. Yes, I have to update you about this, and I will take one more question from Ram Hari. Someone is there. I do not want
Okay.
to upset them.
सौरभ इसका अपडेट हम देंगे आपको जब
Yeah,
मैम will be here in India. So we will surely try to contact her and will
yeah,
surely request her to come down to Jamshedpur. So we will be surely informing about this to you. Okay.
yeah.
Tahir
Okay, sir.
is
Okay, sir.
telling that we can take the question of Ramhari also. So Ramhari,
Okay, sir.
unmute yourself.
Good evening, ma'am, and good evening, sir. It is my question. It is very surprise to you because you know 8 languages in worldwide. Ma'am, you are also facing some kind of problem like me because I also know there are 4 types of regional language in our society. When I am speaking in English or like Odia, Bengali, so my mind also reply both 3 to 4 languages. So how you concentrate your mind to speak in Hebrew language and your Turkish language? So you are also facing like this?
Yes, definitely. Like every polyglot, if someone says, I do not face this problem, they are completely lying, because it's human to err. very human to air. Like in Turkish, we say beşer şeşer. It's like Urdu, in Urdu, like I will say, banda bashar hai. So you make mistakes, of course, that when you are juggling between these words, like you have, for example, you are in India, like maybe you know Maharashtri, you know Sanskrit, you know Urdu, you know Bengali, like or Kannada, like lots of languages, you know. So how to stay focused and to make less mistakes, I would say, not perfectly. First of all, realize who is your audience. For example, here in diplomatic events, we have lots of diverse nations. Like when I go to, like last time I attended Indian event, like Indian Republic Day. So when I went there, there are ambassadors from different countries, even ambassador of Israel. And it happened that I accidentally got stuck with her in the lift, lift that takes us to the Indian embassy. And she has this bodyguard. And now me, she and her bodyguard. Actually, her bodyguard told me, "Oh, ma'am, please come inside." I was going to be hit by the door, but he just pulled me from there. Very kind of him. So you see, if we think that, oh, they are Jewish and they are against Muslims, I should not go with them, it would be foolish. So now I was in such a stuck environment that like I have to stay 2 to 3 minutes with them, even if I don't want, but I am there in that situation. So now to break the ice, like she thought, she didn't know that I would know Hebrew. And when we are just leaving the lift, and I just Toda Rabba, and she was shocked, and the man is shocked that how can she say to us, thank you very much in Hebrew. And after that, she tried to build a dialogue with me. And then when I'm replying in Hebrew, and she was like, you have perfect pronunciation. And how did you learn this? So for those 4 to 5 minutes, I was not thinking except Hebrew, anything. So I was training my brain that bring me those vocabulary, bring me that what I learned back to my mouth, to the tip of my tongue, because it's always in our brain, just needs activation. So always be confident that who you are talking to and what you have to talk to, that environment matters. And secondly, for example, if I have to meet some old lady in market, I know a bit of Russian. So when I go there and I communicate with them in Russian, and then they feel suddenly very happy. And I do not have to use scholarly terms, but about onion, tomatoes, anything. So you need to know where you are talking, and do not pressurize yourself. Okay, I have to be perfect all the time. Just focus on your audience, that how much they are educated, how much they need to know, how much they respond. They can respond you back through which words. For example, use only one main verb and they will understand. For example, one of my follower from Facebook, and he said he went to Istanbul, and he said, I want a coat with pockets. Now in Turkey, lots of people, they are not educated in English, so they will not know what is pocket. So he says, I just said, oh my God, isko jeb ka nahi pata. And he said, when I just said jeb, and that man said, jeb, yes, I know jeb. And because in Turkish it is also jeb. And in old Turkish, jib was gareban. So you see, you will see this in Urdu poetry as well, that chak gareban or chak jib. So you will see that. So you see, if he didn't say out of frustration, oh, mere Allah isko jeb ka nahi pata. So how would the Turkish salesman know that he wants coat with the pocket? So he said, here you get it. So that is how you need to, why he was saying pocket. Come on. Like that day, there was a minister from Pakistan, I think. She went to Cairo and met with one Turkish minister. And her name is Mahinur. Okay, in Turkish Mahinur, but in Urdu it's Mahnur. So she wrote that Mihi Nur, something like that. She wrote it very like she wanted to please the Turkish minister. So I wrote to her that please, you are minister from education, that federal minister, and you are writing wrong name of Turkish minister. So people are learning from you and visiting your page, and you don't have Mahnur over there. You have. So why you are writing and you are troubling yourself? So please be simple as you can, and no need to be so much sophisticated. Just use local vocabulary, local what locals like. So my suggestion for you people is like, there was one Turkish scholar. I will end my talk with this. He was very, very intelligent. Like he knew somewhere 13 languages. It's called super polyglot. And he died of unknown reason. Like he was young, he was mathematician, he was so genius. He said that you are not Pythagoras. You do not need to know all the answers. Why you are pressurizing yourself? For example, I do not know things about physics. Why I need to tire myself about knowing about physics? Let physicists deal with it. So when we are showing off that we know lots of things, be humble. Even if you know lots of things, do not show it to people, because sometimes people may not like it. But if you are invited to talk, yes, then talk. If you are not invited to talk, don't talk. So in this way, you will be, saved from unnecessary pressure. And do not think that you have to know everything, even about languages. If there are so many things to learn for me, even in Turkish, even in mother tongue, I need to every day I need to read and write. I need to learn, because I never claim, for example, people say मुझे इतनी ज़बानों पर उबूर है, like I have command over so many languages. First of all, never use this ubur command, because you do not have. Nobody can have, because it's a profound ocean. Language is like an ocean. Every day you just get one pearl, one fish, one different type of things. So never claim that you have command. So you say, okay, I know a bit of this, and how can I improve it? It's by reading, and listening and writing. Thank you.
Okay, thank
Great.
you, ma'am. But I am very eager to learn in the 3 to 4 international language. So first I want to learn in English. That I will learn other French language and any other 2 language. I will try to, because you are my inspiration. Because when I think, then I think how can I learn 2 3 more languages. But when this is getting second time with you, so now I am capable or have potential to learn languages. So I want to learn. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ramhari. So now it is time to say goodbye to each other. I now request Mubina, the organizing secretary of our student platform, Society for Promotion of Art and Culture, to propose the vote of thanks. Mubina, please.
Thank you for this opportunity, sir. Good evening, everyone. I'm Mubina Begum, the Assistant Organizing Secretary of SPARC. Feel honored to propose the vote of thanks on behalf of the SPARC Society for Promotion of Art and Culture and the PG Department of English. For I extend our sincere gratitude to our esteemed speaker, Tahire Gunish ma'am, for her insightful and engaging talk. Ma'am, your reflections have truly helped us appreciate the beautiful connections between the Turkish and Urdu language and culture. And I would also like to express our heartfelt thanks to the convener of SPARC, Dr. S.M. Yahya Ibrahim sir, for always encouraging and supporting us to organize such meaningful event. And my sincere appreciation goes to all the faculty members and all the others members who joined us for this session and contributed to its success through their presence and encouragement. And lastly, I would like to thank all the students who joined for this session and participated with great enthusiasm. Thank you so much all for being a part of Cafe Culturalis. Have a wonderful and pleasant evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. I am very obliged to speak to such enlightened people who like to absorb what was spoken to them, and I am more than happy to see that they had not only resonated with the message given to them, but also they are happy to have it. So that's the feeling I wanted to get. And once again, thanks for the Society of Art and Culture and English Department, Karim College, City Karim College, and Sir SM Yahya Ibrahim. I'm very obliged for you to provide me such a wonderful platform to speak and to enlighten people who think like me. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.